Welcome back to Portfolio, everyone. Oracle is now challenging Microsoft and is working towards getting a deal done with the Chinese owner of TikTok to acquire its US operations. This is absolutely huge news because Microsoft was really the only large tech giant going after TikTok, but now we have another massive company, Oracle, coming in the race in order to compete to acquire TikTok's US operations. So this is absolutely huge because if TikTok is not acquired by a US company, then it will be banned within the United States. TikTok is one of the fastest growing social media platforms in the world. It's getting millions of daily new users, and the app continues to grow in popularity. So acquiring the US operations will give a nice boost to any company who acquires, and before today, we thought Microsoft was the front runner who was going to do just that. Now we have news that Oracle is in talks to acquire TikTok's operations, and they're actually challenging Microsoft and making this race a little bit more competitive. So today we're going to break down Oracle, talk about where the stock is today, some future expectations, and the historical performance of the company. And after we do that, we're just going to break down to believe if we like Oracle where it is today, and if we believe there's a lot of future potential with Oracle, whether they get this deal done and do acquire TikTok, or if they actually don't get it done, do we still like the company and where it's going? So thank you for tuning in, everyone. We're going to break down this new news that Oracle is in talks to acquire TikTok. And as you know, we talk about different stocks you can buy every single day on this channel. We go over stock market performance and any other big stock market news and headlines. And of course, today we have some big news coming from Oracle. So please like and subscribe, and let's continue right on with this overview. So Oracle is now in works with US venture capitalist firms to acquire TikTok's US, Canadian, Australian, and New Zealand operations, and these talks have progressed and got a lot of positive momentum over the past couple of days. So Oracle is an enterprise software giant within the United States, and this company generates massive amounts of revenue each and every year. But it has actually been underperforming the tech sector over the past couple of years. The overall tech sector has been on a rapid increase over the past couple of years, and Oracle has still been growing very nicely, but hasn't seen those huge double-digit growth years that we've seen some other major tech players. So Oracle is working with US venture capital firms that already have a stake in TikTok currently, and actually talking about working to get a deal done to acquire those TikTok US operations. So TikTok, of course, will be banned within the United States. The president has announced that he will be banning the app in the United States if a deal isn't done where an American company can acquire its TikTok operations. So it's going to be very interesting to see if one of these large tech giants can do it, because if the app does get banned, that really cuts down a large market for the company. And this is a fastest growing app. So it'll be very interesting to see what will happen. So of course, Larry Ellison, one of the CEOs and founders of this company, is supporter of the president. He has been hosting fundraising campaigns for the president earlier this year. So I do believe this may give Oracle a slight edge if there is a little bit of political intervention, or if politics take into effect and somehow impact this deal. Oracle might get a slight boost from this. But of course, we don't like including politics in the decision, but it was mentioned in this article, so I thought I'd have to make it a key point to talk about. Of course, Oracle doesn't really have a social media or video business right now, so this could use a lot of good potential for the company, because this, brings them into a new sector of the market which they haven't got into just yet. And if by acquiring an app that's already has so much popularity, it kind of takes some of the headaches off. You don't have to really focus so much on the early stage research and development. You already have an app that is on fire, and all you have to do is continue to fuel that growth and let it grow naturally. And of course, just continue to innovate on the very well working app that is already out there today. So this is huge news because Oracle has seen a decline in revenue over the last quarter. They actually dropped 6% to $10.4 billion. So of course, this acquisition could hopefully bring back revenue, accelerate growth, and move this company into a great stage in the future. Now we're going to take a look at Oracle. It is traded under ticker symbol ORCL at around $55 a share right now. 1 year chart has been absolutely flat, only up 0.75%. So you can see they saw March lows, have recovered back to pre-pandemic levels, but haven't really surpassed where they were 12 months ago. So very flat on the 1 year chart compared to, of course, other tech giants like Microsoft and Apple, who have seen insane growth and are up over 50% from pre-pandemic ways. Taking a look at a longer term perspective, the stock is only up 35% over the past 5 years, which of course is grossly underperforming the entire tech sector, which has seen double-digit growth over the past 5 years, each and every year. This company is a large company, market cap around $165 billion, and of course on the 52-week range, they are trading towards their high side right now. Forward PE at around 13.33, and have posted earnings per share at 4.05. Taking a look at their performance over the past 5 years, you can see here that they have returned without dividend reinvestments 52%, compared to the overall tech industry, which has brought in 257%. If we include dividends, their total return over the past 5 years is 65%, which has grossly underperformed the overall market, which has brought in 95% growth over the past 5 years. So they are underperforming the market, and they are grossly underperforming the overall industry they operate in, which has brought in a total return of around 279% over the past 5 years, which is absolutely incredible. So Oracle is kind of a slow growing company. They don't see that massive growth year over year that we've been seeing from other tech giants. They do pay out a small dividend, currently yielding 1.78%. Very sustainable payout ratio of only 23.69%, so very unlikely that their dividend gets cut anytime soon. And they are starting off with a slower current yield, but they're doing a great job of growing their dividend year over year at 13.6% dividend growth rate over the past 5 years. And they've been growing their dividend for the past 9 years, which is good to see. With regard to dividend safety, they do have the highest dividend safety rating possible at 99. Their dividend is very safe. Well, very unlikely that it gets cut anytime soon. Of course, we saw that very low sustainable payout ratio. They do have very consistent revenue, so very unlikely that their dividend gets cut anytime soon. We're going to jump in and take a look at some analyst reports to see what they're expecting of the company moving forward. If we take a look from Morningstar, this company is ranked 3 stars, which represents it is fairly valued. If we take a look, fair value of this company is at $53.27, and of course, currently shares are being traded at $55.09. So just above their fair value, but currently being traded within that fair value range, so nothing too worrying with around that. So it is being considered trade at fair value. So if you believe in this company and you believe there's a lot of growth, Warren Buffett, of course, is famous for saying he likes buying excellent companies at a fair price rather than fair companies at an excellent price. So if you believe Oracle is an excellent company and you see a lot of growth potential for them moving forward, now is a good time to buy because it is fairly valued. Moving on to another analyst report, this was what they're expecting from around 23 different analysts for where the price of Oracle will be in the next 12 months. The average analyst expectation puts it around $55 a share, which is where it is currently being traded today. So in the next 12 months, they aren't expecting really any price upside with regard to share price appreciation. Taking a look at what analysts are recommending, it is recommended as a hold right now. So over 29 analysts, 2 strong buys, 7 buys, 18 holds, 1 sell, 1 strong sell. So overall a hold, analysts aren't very bullish on the company. They believe that if you already hold it within your portfolio, they believe it will continue to grow at an average rate moving forward, but they don't see any strong potential in the company as of right now, which may make it a nice buying opportunity at the current moment. But of course, I believe if they were to acquire TikTok, this would completely change, as TikTok is an insanely large enterprise that only has a lot of future growth ahead of it. With regard to their last couple earnings reports, they're doing okay with regard to earnings. Out of the last 6 reports, they've seen 3 positive surprises, and of course the other 3 reports are in line with analyst expectations, and analysts were pretty dead on where their actual earnings were extremely close to what analysts were expecting. Now we're going to take a quick look at their financial statements to see how this company is currently financially positioned and how they've been performing over the past couple of years. Take a look at their income statement. Total revenue over the past 5 years has been extremely flat. Very little revenue growth over the past 5 years, which isn't what you want to see from the tech sector, especially considering other tech giants have been growing revenue at over double-digit rates over these past 5 years, and Oracle has been very flat. If we take a look at the chart, you can see here, slight upward trend, but really nothing special, and very flat over the past 3 years. So Oracle hasn't really done a good job of growing revenue year over year, and that's really something they have to work on, especially when investors, and there are a lot of other companies out there who are growing revenue very fast in the same industry. Of course, it's nice to see revenues are flat. We really want to get them to work on that and try to grow revenue year over year. So it is a little bit of a red flag with the flat revenue. With regard to net income, once again, very flat. You can see here 5 years ago, net income of $8.9 billion, slight upward trend. Of course, they had the one-off year where they generated very little net income. But if we take a look at the long-term perspective, once again, slight upward trend, but overall flat net income. And again, this is not what you want to see. Taking a look at their balance sheet, you can see here that they have total current assets on hand around $52 billion. Meanwhile, they have total current liabilities of $17 billion. So overall, they have a beautiful current ratio above 3. So within the next 12 months, no risk of them having any issues paying off their debt, and their operation should continue without worry over the next 12 months. A little bit of a long-term perspective, total assets of around 115 billion. Meanwhile, they have total liabilities of 102 billion. So an overall ratio of around 1.5. Nothing too worrying. Sorry, around 1.15, $115 billion of assets compared to a lot of total liabilities around 102 billion. So they do have a lot of long-term debt. They should work to try to pay that off quickly and sustainably, but I'm not too worried about this company's balance sheet at its current position. I do believe they will continue to grow very nicely moving forward. And of course, with equity, we want to see an upward trend with equity year over year, and that is not the sign with regard to Oracle. Actually, equity value has been on a decline, which is another red flag for me. So right now, this company's balance sheet, with regard to this next 12 months, they have a strong current ratio, but the overall perspective of the balance sheet isn't the greatest compared once again to the other tech companies in the tech industry overall, which has some of the strongest financial statements in the world. So overall, Oracle is a company that has been somewhat flat, maybe on a slight decline over the past couple of years. Their share price hasn't been doing anything crazy. They are paying a small dividend right now that is sustainable, but overall, this company hasn't really seen any crazy growth, and they haven't really been in the news for innovating or growing at any fast rate whatsoever. So this is an interesting company. I do believe if they can get a deal done to acquire TikTok, it will help change the company. It will help provide huge future growth potential, and I believe TikTok is such a powerful revenue stream, not only where it is today, but the future potential for it to innovate and grow, that this could be something of an everyday use for years and years to come. And I do believe whichever company, Oracle or Microsoft, can acquire those US operations has a lot of future potential with it. Maybe if Oracle wins the deal and actually buys out TikTok's US operations from the Chinese owner, then we'll make a new video to talk about what it could mean for the company. But at its current standpoint where it is today, I will not be investing in Oracle. It doesn't fit my current financial representation of what I like holding my portfolio. I like buying companies with growing revenue and growing net income each and every year, and who have a nice strong current ratio with regard to overall assets compared to liabilities, and I like companies who are growing equity year over year. So Oracle isn't the company for me, only when I can find a lot of other tech companies on the market today that I believe have a lot of more future potential and are more likely to grow at a faster rate and actually beat the overall market compared to Oracle, which is a company that's been underperforming over the past couple of years. So that's my thoughts on Oracle. They are in talks to acquire TikTok's US operations. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you in tomorrow's video.